Good evening, students. Today we'll be talking about immigration to Texas and what it means. So, with immigration, we've got four big things we're going to look at today. If you want to take a second just to copy down your notes, feel free to do so. Just go ahead and pause and you'll be good. First things first, we had the Republic of Texas. So Texas was all alone. Now, some people wanted to move here. It did have some cheap land, fertile soil, some other reasons that they wanted to come. But really, nobody knew what was going to go on with Texas. Was it going to go back into Mexico? Was it going to succeed as a republic? What was going to happen? And eventually more and more debt happened, so not many people could actually migrate there. But then, we got added to the USA. And this is what we called annexation, or adding on. We got added on to the USA as the 28th state. And this kind of changes everything. See, now that we're part of the USA, let's go ahead and add some stars and stripes here. Woo! Now that we're part of the USA, people have a much easier time coming to join us. So people from across the sea, from the continent of Europe, ended up seeing that now Texas was part of the US. And they said, hey, check that out. Because, again, they really wanted to go, but they just didn't know how the Republic was faring. So they saw that it was working pretty well. They decided that they were going to get on their boats and sail over and try to start a life in Texas. But as they sailed over, they had to make sure that they landed in a good port city. And as you all remember from class, that port city was Galveston. And this was the biggest city in Texas from 1850 till about 1860. Most people ended up staying around that area. In fact, most of the immigrants ended up staying in this little area that we call the coastal plains. This is for several different reasons. First, we've got a whole bunch of water and other resources. But also they were staying there because it was close to the ocean that they came in on. So this led to what we call a multicultural society. Because as these different people came, they settled in different villages. One village would be very German, with a lot of people coming from what was where the Germans came from, Germany. Prussia at the time, I believe. So you had some places that were German, you had other places that were French, others that were from Norway, and several other ones. But as you can tell, multicultural means many cultures. So you can see that you get a whole bunch of different people coming together. Something else kind of had to happen to bring this multicultural unit together, because these people keep melding, but they kind of stick in their own cities. You see, the Germans had the German cities, the French had the French, the Dutch had their own cities, the Czechoslovakians had theirs. But eventually, they had to kind of become connected, and this was done with the railroad. So any city that was connected with the railroad had a very good time, because the railroad also brings in lots of money, because it enables the transport of supplies as well as cultural diffusion. So as this is going, we also have to kind of talk about why they decided to come to Texas. There are two main factors that influence whether somebody wants to move or not. You've got your push factors, and just like you can see here, you're going to push people onto that train because this is what makes people want to leave a place. It pushes them out. Then you also have your pull factors. Your pull factors are what take people and make them want to come to a specific location. In this case, Texas. So what's pushing people away are things like a lack of freedom, also persecution, In the instance, especially with, for instance, the Irish, there were also things like famines and droughts that were pushing people out. And the way that Texas responded, the reason that Texas appealed to these people, that pulled them in, is because, well, now we're part of America, we have a lot of guaranteed rights. That's from the U.S. Constitution. For persecution, again, you've got freedom of religion, guaranteed by that Constitution. And finally, for famine, this is what they called they were kind of calling Texas and the United States as a whole as the land of plenty. So that also kind of pulls people in. As they get here, though, as immigration continues and continues, people end up trying to keep their own cultures. You see, every one of us kind of has our own traditions. And traditions are part of culture in the fact that they're a way of life. These traditions, we kind of want to hold them down. We don't want to let them go too far away. And that's where we end up with a lot of things that we love about Texas today, because it is such a multicultural society. You know me, I love my food. Personally, we get kolaches from this, and I'm not even going to try to spell that, so I'm just going to go ahead and draw me a quick kolache. They are so good, and we wouldn't have this without Czechoslovakian cuisine. Other traditions, we've got polka dancing, which is kind of similar to what we now call the Texas two-step. And this comes from Germany. So we've got we also have a lot of folk music, which comes from pretty much all of them, Irish, German, Czech. They all kind of have their own influence. And so all of these things contribute to life in Texas as a whole. And we would not have this without our multicultural society. And this is gift of immigration. I hope you guys are ready and prepared for that test some more, and I hope this helped out a bit. I will see you all soon, and good studies.